Hey, this is Captain Paul Brawley with Fish Finder Guide Service. This week we are going to be starting on the north side of the JFK Causeway. We're going to be concentrating in the areas that are closer to these channels, which would be here, up in here, up in here. So those areas that are maybe 50 to 100 yards off of those crash channels, and they are crash channels. They are what the Navy pilots use to crash in if they have to crash. The Blackhawks also use them if they have to crash. Hopefully, you're not fishing when they have to crash. So, we're going to be fishing about 50 to 100 yards off of those channels. We're going to be making little bumps forward 20, 30 yards at a time. You can use popping corks and shrimp with about an 18-inch leader. I like using a 1/16 ounce jig head. Some people like using treble hooks or like a number 3 kell hook with your shrimp. I like using the 1/16 ounce jig head. I think it takes the guesswork for the fish out of it. They're not having to really chase the shrimp. On the same token, you may get a few more perch bites than you're used to. You can also fish those same areas off of those channels. You're going to be on the flat, pretty much in the curved part that I made on the map. And you're going to be using cut bait. You can use cut skipjack. Cut mullet has been working real well. And you can use some cut shad all through those areas. I've kind of weaned off the sardines for this time of the year. For me, sardines are more of a summer and spring deal. But to each his own. If you feel like you can still get them on those, you're welcome to still try them, of course. Over here, some more little cuts off of channels. Pretty much anywhere you can see these channels, you're going to be working closer to the channel, 50 yards, 100 yards from the channel, and bumping your way forward to them. Seems to be producing pretty good redfish and speckled trout. All right, next we're going to be moving to the south side of the JFK Causeway. We're going to kind of be concentrating in the same areas off of these channels, 50 to 100 yards off of these channels. We're going to be staging up. We can make little bumps forward as the bite decreases. You're going to just power pole down, throw your shrimps and cork out there, pop them quite a bit. If it's very windy, pop them a lot less. If it's lighter wind, you're looking for speckled trout and redfish, possibly some black drum. When you get on the south side of the causeway in this area, you'll be able to find a little bit of black drum action. I am not really fishing this channel. I call this the Midway channel right here, the one I circled. I'm not really fishing that one because it has a lot of little islands, underwater islands, and it's very shallow coming up to the channel, and you don't have much room like you do out here. Of course, you're welcome to try that channel. I've just not been fishing it. This area here more, where I just made the little arrows, is more or less where I'm looking at. It's also, you've probably heard me in the past refer to that as the triangle, in that area there. If you come on the other side of these little spoils here, you'll see another channel, which is the Old Humble channel, and or some people call it the PETA channel or CW channel, which is a little channel that used to go to Marina. But all off of that channel, this little bit, 50, 100 yards, 200 yards off that channel, making little bumps forward using your corks and shrimp. I haven't been using a lot of cut bait on this side. I've been using more corks and shrimp. It seems to be working for both species well, and you may pick up a drum or two in that area. It seems to me to be the better option. On the course, again, on the north side of the causeway, I'm using a little bit more cut bait, but on the south side, I'm just sticking to the shrimps and cork. So you may try some other stuff, but that's what I'm doing. Okay, so finally, after a long awaited time, this area, which is known as Sulfur Flat, all this area here, right in here, has finally started to have a few redfish again. I don't know where they went for so long, but they went for a while. What we've been doing is coming over here close to the intercoastal and making really long drifts back across. We're mainly throwing soft plastics through there, quarter-ounce jig head, whatever your favorite color is. I like paddle tails. I don't really like the pointy tails when I'm fishing for redfish. Um, we're just kind of making long drifts through here, all the way. You know, you're coming from off about 20, 30 yards off the intercoastal flat, all the way across to these, these islands here. You're not going way up on them, but you're getting close enough. And when you run, make sure you run way around. Don't have to run right over where you're trying to fish. Come past where you just drifted and make a new drift and just keep working your way through there. Now, you're not going to pick up like 4 or 5 reds on one of those drifts. You're going to pick up 1, maybe 2 reds on one of those drifts, and just got to go back around. It's a slow, methodical thing. If you go through there and you spend, a half a day in that area making drifts, you'll probably come up with a couple of nice limits of reds. Anyway, that's kind of the report for right in here. I'm going to move a little south of the PETA channel next. All right, we're going to move a little south of the CP&L channel, and we're going to be looking right here in this natural gut all along this area within the first 2 miles or so past PETA Island. The natural gut right there, right on the drop, has been holding some very nice speckled trout, lots of keepers, and we're throwing cork and shrimp, making drifts through here. You're probably making like $200 yard little drifts through all this right here, just kind of drifting. A lot of our days right now are southeast wind building up to northers. Of course, if it's a norther, you would just reverse that and be coming back this way on your little drifts. We're just coming into the flat and drifting about halfway through the natural gut and popping the shrimp and corks. If you get a bite, you can power pull down, try it for 5 minutes or something. But if you don't, continue to get a few more bites, pick it up and keep moving forward, and you'll keep getting those bites all through that area right there. There have been some redfish showing up right in this little area right in here, this little zone. You might want to try some cut bait up there, cut mullet, cut skipjack, especially if you can get skipjack, which you should be able to catch some if you're fishing shrimp and corks. You should be able to catch a few skipjack. But we're using cut skipjack, cut mullet, and a little bit of cut shad. Once again, I have ceased to use the sardines at this time of the year. But that's kind of the report for this end of the Laguna. You guys have good luck, and hopefully you'll find you quite a few fish.